Hi everyone, it's Nurse Queen. I am here today with a new video. This video is going to be about travel nurse recruiters for all of my travel nurse babes who are embarking on their new travel nurse journey, and they're looking to find the right recruiter and really trying to jump into travel nursing. If you all don't know what travel nurse recruiters do, they are the liaison between a travel nurse and their dream job. So in this video, I will be giving you all the red flags of travel nurse recruiters, along with a couple of tips in my experience with travel nurse recruiters. If you are new to my channel, go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. We're gonna get right into this video. So, if you all don't know who I am by now, I am Queen. I go by Nurse Queen. I'm a 26-year-old travel nurse, labor and delivery to be specific. I have been on 12 travel nurse assignments. I have been a nurse for 6 years, a travel nurse for 3 years, and I have dealt with probably more than 40 travel nurse recruiters. Whether or not I have taken a job with them or not, I have had my experience, and I am here to spill the tea. So if you're like in between like travel nurse assignments, or if you're a new travel nurse and you're wondering why like your travel nurse recruiter is being weird to you, or you know, you create that new profile with that new agency that you heard so many great things about and they ghost you after you create the profile, it's like, where'd you go? Those are the subtle things that happens to new travel nurses. You are bamboozled into making so many profiles with so many agencies. So the way you can avoid those minor things, such as creating all these different profiles, is first to know the red flags associated with travel nurse recruiters. I'm gonna give 5 quick tips on what to look out for and what are those red flags. So I'm basically gonna be giving you all the red flags about travel nurse recruiters and what you need to look for and what to avoid. So go ahead and get ready because I'm about to spill it all. So as I stated, I have been a travel nurse for 3 years, and I am very different than I was when I first started. When I first started, I literally thought that every travel nurse recruiter was supposed to be my recruiter forever. I looked at them as a partner and just more so in a sense of longevity, but that's not the case anymore. Now in this day and age, I look at my travel nurse recruiters as a very transactional relationship, meaning that they're gonna help me find the job of my dreams that's paying very high. I'm gonna work my 4 to 8 week assignment and we're gonna exchange at that level, and that's it. No personal business, no hee-hee, no ha-has. If it gets to that, then that's fine, but I'm not really expecting it. Many travel nurses would say that travel nurse recruiters are kind of like dating. It's kind of like a dating app, right? And how I initially in my early 20s looked at dating as everyone I interacted with, I looked at them as my potential husband, my potential boyfriend, long-term, not short-term, and that's it. But then once I had a couple of failed situationships, failed relationships, I started to like shift my mindset. And then I'm like, you know, these relationships or these interactions with men that I'm dating, I'm gonna more so look at them as experiences. So not to say that I'm physically experiencing these other men or dating someone, I'm just really just enjoying the process. So if you look at recruiters in that same aspect rather than looking at it as longevity, as if like you all are a partnership, you will kind of have a different mindset, meaning that your recruiter is not going to be with you through every single assignment that you take. You may have a recruiter for every single new travel nurse assignment, and that's okay. You don't have to be committed to one travel nurse agency, let alone one travel nurse recruiter. There's always more out there. So make sure you all are not falling under that myth that you have to stay with one agency or that you have to stay with one recruiter, because you do not. I'm gonna really get started. Like I said, every travel nurse recruiter right now that I'm actually interacting with, they're super cool, super dope. I've been on my last 4 assignments, have been very high paying, so I'm very grateful for that, but I look at it as very transactional. Anytime I've ever invested more time or energy into a travel nurse recruiter, it has always failed me, like every time. Like they either let me down or I like them so much and I think that like they're such an awesome person and they literally ghost me. And it's like, gee, like why are you being weird to me? Like you said that we were in this together and now you're not answering your phone after I made this profile. Like, what's tea? But that's neither here nor there. We're gonna get right into the red flags. So the first red flag of a travel nurse recruiter is inconsistency. So if you are an aspiring travel nurse, or if you are a travel nurse, you know that your phone is blown up 24/7 with travel nurse recruiters. They're calling you day and night. With that being said, they're very thirsty and they want you to create a profile. They want to submit you to your dream job. They're just selling you a dream. And it all sounds good, it all sounds dandy, but then many times what happens, especially with the recruiters that are very inconsistent, you would create a profile, you would even be submitted to a job, and they would literally like ghost you. They won't have that same sense of excitement to talk to you. They won't have that consistency communicating with you. They just won't even hit you up anymore. It's like they got what they wanted and they're gone. You view this within your relationship and you see like, hey, like after I created this profile, like your communication just kind of like dwindled down. That's number one red flag. Inconsistency in a recruiter is not good, because if they are inconsistent in the beginning stages, more than likely once you take that contract and you're on assignment and you run into the many hiccups as many travel nurses do, when you try to communicate with them, they're gonna be very inconsistent. They may not be available. You don't need that energy in your life. So red flag number one. Red flag number two is lack of urgency. So if you have a travel nurse recruiter that lacks urgency, that is a major red flag, because your travel nurse recruiter is the liaison between you and your dream job. So you cannot physically get a job as a travel nurse unless you have that travel nurse recruiter. And if they lack urgency, then how can you even get the job? Me personally, I'm a very self-driven person. So when I jumped into the travel nurse world, it gave me so much anxiety because I was basically putting my livelihood into someone else's hands. My first couple of recruiters, they lacked so much urgency. They were so scared to ask questions to like their higher ups, and it just gave me so much anxiety, because I felt as though if you don't have the same drive to get this job for me than I would have for myself, then I don't need you. Meaning that if your travel nurse recruiter lacks urgency, they're scared to ask questions, they're scared to get you higher pay, honey, find you a new travel nurse recruiter, because you need someone that's going to literally go hard for you and get you the best job in your dream location, paying the highest amount, period. Red flag number three would be lack of transparency. So there are many things as a travel nurse I don't see. A lot of things I don't hear about, because my travel nurse recruiter is responsible for a lot of the things behind the scenes. Now, what some travel nurse recruiters tend to do is kind of keep you out of the loop, especially when things aren't going as you would like, such as if you submitted for a job and you didn't get the job because it was too many applicants, or if the travel nurse recruiter even submitted you late. And when I say lack of transparency, I'm pretty much just saying that they need to keep you in the loop at all times, whether or not you didn't get the job, or at any moment they get notified that you got the job, that your application is pending. They're keeping you in the loop every step of the way. If your travel nurse recruiter lacks transparency and they don't keep you up to date, that's a major red flag. For example, if you have a travel nurse recruiter that submitted you for a job and you're just waiting around for that job, it's kind of dictating your next moves in your life, whether that's you moving to a new city or just financial stability, and they don't keep you updated if you've been denied, if your application is pending, or even if you were accepted, that's a major red flag, because how would you ever know? Your life is literally probably depending on this job opportunity. So transparency is key to the perfect travel nurse recruiter. Number four, if you have a travel nurse recruiter that is rude and just nasty, that's a major red flag. For one, you are a travel nurse and they need you. You are working on a unit, you are putting your license on the line, you are literally working hard labor, and every minute that you work, they are getting paid. So there's no need for any travel nurse recruiters to be rude or just to treat you like you're working for them. So with that being said, here in 2021, we have a lot of travel nurse agencies, and we have what we call crisis assignments and crisis rapid response agencies. agencies. And those recruiters, I'm not even gonna lie to you, are sometimes pretty rude and very straightforward. They deal with a lot of travel nurses, and sometimes they are very short, straight to the point. And if you're paying me $12K a week, I'm probably gonna not really allow you to disrespect me. But if you're being short and not the most friendly, that's fine. I'm just gonna send you my information, go about my day. So pick your battles wisely. Make sure that your recruiters, especially for normal 13-week assignments, are not rude to you, do not make you feel bamboozled or just like you're cornered into a contract, because you're not. At the end of the day, the recruiter works for you. Last but not least, a major red flag is if your recruiter tells you that you have to only work with them and that you have to only work with that one agency. There's this big myth out there that as a travel nurse, you can only work with one agency, one recruiter, and that's it. I am here to tell you that's a lie. I have worked with probably 4 recruiters at a time. At one point, I was very focused on getting a job in Houston. I wanted a travel nursing assignment in Houston, and that was my goal. So I spoke to many different agencies. I had 4 leads with 4 different recruiters, and that's okay. What you cannot do is sign a contract with different agencies at the same hospital, for instance. But you can talk to different recruiters. You can even be submitted for different jobs at different hospitals with different recruiters. If you do not sign a contract, you are not obligated to any agency. You are not obligated to any recruiter. So any recruiter that is telling you, hey, it is frowned upon to work with many agencies, that's a red flag, because at the end of the day, your recruiter should want the best for you, whether or not you are choosing to work with them or choosing to work with someone else. So make sure you all look for that, because it's a major red flag. And I know that it seems like super sketchy, like, oh, I have all my profiles out there, I'm working with multiple people for one job goal, but never put all your eggs in one basket. As I stated at the beginning of this video, travel nurse recruiters are pretty much like the dating pool, and you never want to literally put all your eggs in one basket and end up short. So make sure you all are getting the best out of this experience and also getting the highest paying jobs in your dream location. That's always the goal. So thank you all for watching. I definitely appreciate it. This video is very short, so if you all have any questions, go ahead and comment below. Make sure you all like this video, subscribe to my channel. Vlogmas is coming up, so I will be posting way more, so stay tuned for all of this new content, because I'm going to be giving you all exactly what it needs to give. So go ahead and stay tuned. Talk to you all later. Bye.